Clue. No
Probably
idea.
by Dingan, the same way they found my child's employment. Probably by Dingan. Weren't you part of the green team before?
Never.
No? Oh.
Never.
I thought that's how, like, you were even, like...
Never.
Like Tony having your personal phone number to even send that text. Like, how did that even come to be then if you were never, like, associated with them? I thought...
Because Chase and Ocean and them kept holding and Cajun and all those fuck sticks kept going live all the time, and I reached out to Tony privately and sent him a message on, well, what used to be the Caleb Harris page, and then he changed it to Sebastian's Army. I messaged him and just was like, listen, if you're going to sit up in panel boxes day in and day out, like, this shit needs to stop. So it was kind of like an olive branch out, like, please, like, let's not make this into something. Like, people can have their opinion over there. It's kind of like the divide on YouTube with Brittany J. People don't like her, you know, and whatnot. So I reached out to him through TikTok, and he said, well, if you want to have a call, here's my number. And Tammy and I did have a call with him, and he was like, well, if you want us to stop, then you guys will stop, and I'll get on with the girls and have a conversation, you know. And he said some other things.
There was a back and forth, and then you reached out for, like, a mutual ground, like, hey, let's cut the shit.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, and that's when he sent me the text message, because after he didn't stop, like, I was on vacation, like, last June and July, I think we were at the beach, and it kept going and going, and I'm on vacation and shit's still going on, and I was just like, this is fucking enough. So I sent Tony a cease and desist, and he replied back to me with that text message that ultimately got into court, where he said, I'm going to sue you civilly, don't even care if I win, I just want you to pay to defend it. That's where that text message came from.
Yeah, speaking of that text, like, I don't know if it's you that's saying it, if it's just people that
I haven't said
you,
nothing.
because that text is not the sole reason we won this litigation.
Absolutely not, but it's a part of it, just as everything is.
Just as everything is.
I've never said that. I've never said that was the only reason. Absolutely not. And
yeah, your supporters
but that's how
saying that,
fly.
like, oh, well, it was your supporters. They were like, oh, Granny, you only won this litigation because Barbecue had that text, and that's just simply not true.
I don't know who said that, but if you have something you want to send me privately, I will absolutely address it. If
no, to be honest, I don't take screenshots of it, but it was all in Queen's chat that day when that whole comment was made about my attorney only being $5K and wrote off your attorney's backs. It was during.
Well, that's not true.
Yeah, that's certainly not true either.
None of that. But that's how fuck shit gets started. And
exactly.
I think that people really wanted to peg us against each other, and it's like, dude, yeah, it seems like it's over, but it's still not over.
Yeah, it's not over. I mean? No, it's definitely not over.
But I will say this. I didn't know you before the filing. We didn't have numbers. We didn't exchange emails or anything like that. And I had frequented over in J for Justice, Clue, and Queen Bee's panel. And I'm very well aware that J for Justice hates my guts. Whatever. I don't care. I'm not offended. It is what it is. People can have their opinion. Whatever. People can have their opinion, which is fine. I hang out in Queen Bee's chat, okay? Right. The day before court had happened, I know that you and I have had some conversations privately, and all I'll say is that what we went through was horrendous.
Yeah.
And nobody can take that away from you, and nobody can take that away from me. What we went through, and I'm going to speak for you just in saying, but probably some of the darkest days that we've ever experienced in our lives, because, like, nobody can make that shit up. But I had gone over to Queens, and I think that you had said, hey, I'm going to be updating, I'm going to go up on Jay's panel. And I was like, I'm going to go up on Queen Bee's panel. So, like, after court, when we came out of court, it was I feel like I held my breath that whole time. It was very stressful, even just being in the same room as some of those people and just being on the edge of your seat. And it was very emotional. There's nothing else to say. Like, then it was emotional. And, we're watching all this unfold. So when we left the courthouse, and they tried to say that we were live streaming and sharing court proceeding photos and things like that. It's absolutely fucking bullshit. And the judge noted that on the filing, or on her opinion, on a second opinion as well.
On her actual filing, she wrote that. That is bullshit.
Yeah. So we're walking out of the courthouse while Nick and Hong and Lesniak, they're all coming back through the lie detector thing. And I remember you saying, like, they're trying some fuck shit.
They're gonna go try to file charges.
So we're like walking out, like, I mean, to sit there and think that after everything that they've already done and pulled and Nick's past and things like that, you're going to sit there and wonder a little bit. But nowhere did I ever say that I was afraid that the cops were going to show up at the hotel room. I've never said that. I did not have that fear.
And I didn't think so, because we spoke about that, and we spoke to our attorneys and everything, and said there's no charges they could bring forth. The judge was aware. She could have made at that point, but she even said, like, pictures, okay, don't do it again, type of thing. Like, she didn't care. So we knew they couldn't take charges. They could try charges. They couldn't have gotten anywhere.
Right. So, you know,
No,
in the moment of like coming out of the courthouse, it was really cold. It was windy. Obviously, we knew that there was 2 fairly large groups of people on YouTube who were waiting, just the same as they wait to hear about Bullhorn Betty's bullshit or whatever other stuff goes on. There's still people waiting that supported you, that supported me, you know. And so we walked out, went on Queen Bee's. I talked to her for maybe like 20 minutes. You jumped on Jay's. We sat and had lunch. And then I went back to the hotel room and had a moment of like privacy. I'll just say privacy, that I could have called Tammy and Nikki. And it was right after a phone call with one of my attorneys, just double checking, like, hey, did either of you guys record or stream a live? And I'm like, absolutely not. So I knew that there was like some talk. I hadn't been on the internet. Like after we went to lunch, I didn't get the fuck on the internet. So I had addressed that with my attorneys, and I'm thinking like, why do people think that there was live stream? You know, like I didn't review anybody's live. And so I'm rolling into like a privacy phone call where I'm not out in public, where I can talk about what happened. Mind you, I'm trying not to repeat myself like 80 times. I'm sure you didn't want to like tell the fucking story a million times either. It's stressful. It takes a lot out of you. And so like one of the things that I brought up was like about these pictures, and both of them were like, well, yeah, everybody on the internet knows that you did it. And I was like, wait, what? No, the fuck I didn't. I didn't share any fucking courtroom photos.
I even commented that on Tammy's, and I commented it in the comment section. They were my photos.
Yeah, but it just kept trickling down. And so for like 20 minutes, I'm on the phone multiple times sitting there saying like, I didn't do that. And it's like, well, it's okay. We're not going to judge you. If you did, you did. And it was like, but I didn't. Like, I don't like to be accused of things that I didn't do, just like anybody else.
So it wasn't that you were asking them like, hey, do you think I took those photos? You weren't asking. They were instead.
I might have said, no, I might have. Well, I might have said like, you guys actually think I did that? And they're like, yeah, we do. Yeah, you did. Everybody on the internet thinks you did. And then I said, well, I didn't. I absolutely fucking didn't do it. And I'm just like sitting here with someone who's supposed to be my friend, okay, who apparently thinks that I fucking shared and broke the law and was live streaming in a court proceeding. So like, I am a little taken back by that.
Right.
You know, and I'm just
going to say, they know there was no live stream?
Say that again?
They know there was nobody live streaming in the courtroom?
I don't know. I don't know what they knew. Like I said, this was like, I tried to call them when I came out of court. Nobody answered the call. I jumped on Queen Bee's panel. We walked down to try to find a place to eat. It's fucking cold. The wind's blowing. You know, went and had some lunch, trying to decompress, you know, just kind of going over the fucking whole thing. And by the time like we had left there, it was dark. I mean, it was pretty dark almost when we left there. Yeah, so by the time I got back, to the hotel room, it was like, okay, I have a moment. You know, I've decompressed a little bit from that shit, and then I'm going to call and talk to my friends. And it didn't really sound like they were my friends on that phone call. It sounded like they didn't believe what I said, and they were accusatory, and that's how I took it. And honestly, you know, I mean, at the end of the day, combined with all the other little red flags of things that were said to me, you know, weeks leading up to it, that really rubbed me the wrong way. That was my feeling. Right. You know, just like other, I mean, it's hard to trust people, especially when you're going through litigation and people are trying to flip-flop sides, and you see people flip-flopping sides, you see leaked text messages. It's like, dude, I don't trust nobody. Like, no one. And I'm not even reading these comments because I'm just talking from my heart.
And to be fair, we both took pictures, but it was my pictures that were shared. But I guess because they were taken off Jay's stream and presented on Queen's, where you, like you just said, you were given updates, they assumed it came from you if they were watching Queen's. So right. That's probably why that happens. Yeah. As for the whole, like, you know, not trusting people and all, maybe it's because you guys kind of were intertwined a little bit with the green team, so maybe you weren't sure who was who.
I was not intertwined with the green team at all.
Well, you went out to dinner with Seth, or out to lunch, right?
Well, in the beginning, that was Tammy's doing. Tammy had Seth's number. Tammy wanted to go meet with Seth to tell him that, based on like her experience with searching for Riley Strain, of like how to conduct a proper like search team meeting spot. She even offered to buy the table and the supplies and things like that. So yeah, I mean, I absolutely did participate in that, but I didn't have Seth's number or arrange that. Right. Tammy made that decision on her own.
Keith, go ahead and say it so I see if it's you. Yeah, it's been wild. I do slightly agree. Like the way you just said, like, well, it was Tammy that this, and Tammy did that, but you went along with the idea, so there is some accountability there. Like you were also involved.
Yeah, I mean, I did go along to the lunch, absolutely. I will also say that Tammy and I just met. Like that was our first time ever meeting. We had only been,
you guys were friends prior to all of this?
No. Like I had talked with her on panel for maybe like 10 days.
Wow, I thought you guys had like this like year-long friendship or some shit.
There's some kind of text message running all around YouTube from the green team on every panel. Somebody, I don't know, I don't go on TikTok, but I did. Barbecue, congratulations on your win. I don't go on TikTok, but I left you a message on your TikTok
The one about that show, that was their proof that you recorded.
Yeah, that one, it says you recorded, but people are making up a story that now they're saying that what was on the recording is that Katie said that in the recording that she emmed her child.
Listen, I think that people are taking one thing, they call this false light, okay? They take something that's partially true, and then they say something that's a lie, and it makes it all a lie. That's called false light. That's really a thing. So I think people are taking different things and piecing them together to be the same date or the same time or the same place and such. So,
well, I don't know, but it just makes it, the Proud Boys are under so much pressure right now. That's why,
yeah, I agree.
I want to do, but I would never, meet with a family.
I do not have any recordings of Katie Proudfoot.
That's what it says. So I thought.
What I do have on my phone, okay, I do have a 9-minute recording that me and Tammy and Emily all agreed to record ourselves while Tammy was driving us back to the airport, and we recorded something as a group to. I'm trying to be careful of my words here.
You recorded Katie. Just say it, dude. Just say it. Oh, no.
I didn't record Katie. The recording that we do have, which Tammy has as well, was just me, Tammy, and Emily recounting what had just happened because Tammy and another individual had heard Katie say something that me and Emily didn't.
Excuse me, Miss Robin, hold on. Because then why would it be stated oh, I got the part where she said the wrong age? Which one of the four of you said the wrong age? That doesn't make sense, respectfully.
Again,
right, so then does that make sense?
People are, but then people are putting things together of different times, different places, and such.
So they
I do not have any recordings of Katie Proudfoot on my phone. I do have one video. I went and looked through them all and listened to them all because we went out on Nashville, we went out on Broadway, we went out to the bars, we went to Jelly Roll's restaurant. I have one video, and it's a video of Tammy. She knew that I was recording it, and she's flipping a fan. And you can hear Katie say something, but it was just like a laugh or a chuckle. It was nothing like a fucking conversation. So at the end of the day, there are no recordings of Katie Proudfoot. If Tammy heard something,
February 4th, the date,
I'd have to go back and look at all of the videos to say which date. I think I don't know. I think it was the 5th.
That's the date they're showing, but there's no year.
Yeah, I don't have it pulled up.
So the year doesn't matter.
No. Listen. Hold on, that video was me replaying a very small clip, and I was on TikTok Live. So as I was playing the little part of the clip of Tammy talking, and she said, I heard, and I said, I didn't. And I absolutely did not hear Katie say what Tammy heard.
Well, normal people don't speak like that anyway. They don't say when I murdered. Normal person doesn't use the word murder. But what would this part of the message mean? I am recording FYI. I also got that part where she just messed up with his age. If that's not about Katie, then who messed up with his age, and why the fuck does it matter to record them saying it?
But there's no recording. There's no recording. Also, yeah.
So did you just lie and say that you were recording? Are these messages fake?
No, we were out in public. I recorded videos of places that we were at, and I also listen. Sometimes when you're recording videos, it catches what other people say. So if I'm going to say, hey, I'm recording videos or whatever, I have another video that when Tammy and when we were in New York City, she asked me, and I was literally watching every video, and Tammy said, are you live? And I was like, no, I'm just recording. And she's like, oh, okay. So I think that some things are being misconstrued and made out to be something that they're not. I don't have, and I did not record conversations with Katie Proudfoot, period. If Tammy has a recording, then she recorded it.